Okay, we're going to look at solving when you have a fraction in front of your variable. This could be done in two steps. So for example, you could multiply both sides by 3 and divide by 2 to get rid of this 2/3. But there is a much easier way to get rid of a fraction. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit more room and rewrite this. 2/3 x equals 6. So the easiest way to get rid of a fraction is to multiply by the reciprocal. And by the reciprocal, I just mean take the 2/3 and flip it. So that would be 3/2. And I'm going to go ahead and whatever I multiply to one side, I'm going to multiply the other side by as well. I'm going to show you why this is going to be simpler. What happens over on the left-hand side is the 3's cancel and the 2's cancel. So I'm just left with 1x or x. So the 3/2 times 2/3 is just 1. And so I can now just write x equals. On the right-hand side, you can multiply this on your calculator. I'll show the steps. I'm going to write 6 as 6 over 1. And then before I multiply, I'm going to go ahead and cross cancel. So I have a 6 and a 2, and these are both divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I went ahead and cross canceled, and now I'll multiply those fractions. Multiply the numerator. 3 times 3 is 9. And in the denominator, you have 1 times 1, which is just 1, and you don't need to write a denominator of 1. 9 over 1 is the same thing as just 9. So we get x equals 9. So go ahead and pause and try example 6 the same way. Okay, to solve example 6, you have 5/3 c, and the c is in the numerator here, but it would be the exact same thing if the c was just written next to the fractions. It's just two different ways to write the same thing. So I want to get rid of this 5/3, so I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 3/5. So you should have multiplied both sides by 3/5. I'm going to go ahead and write this. And when you do this multiplication, on the left-hand side, the 3/5 and 5/3 cancel, and you're just left with c equals. And on the right-hand side, I want to rewrite -5 as -5 over 1. And in the numerator and denominator, I have two 5's, so they're both divisible by 5. Just be careful of your sign. Numerator, I have -5. So -5 divided by 5 is -1, and here 5 divided by 5 is 1. So you now go ahead and do the multiplication. Your numerator, you have -1 times 3, which is -3. And in the denominator, 1 times 1, so I don't need to write that. So c equals -3.